Commanders got great news today, just a week away from the start of Commanders training camp. We'll break down what that is at the top of today's edition of the Commanders Report. And then we're going to take an in-depth look at new Commanders edge rusher Von Miller, who agreed to terms with the team yesterday. I'm going to let you guys know what his role with the Commanders is going to be this year and why I think he's going to fill that role very nicely in this defense this season. But before we get into the content here, if you're excited for Von Miller being a member of this Commanders defense this year, a former Super Bowl MVP, go ahead and click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already to kick off today's show. All right, so let's start here with the good news, which is that the second round pick for the Washington Commanders this year, cornerback out of Ole Miss, Trey Amos, has come to terms with the team on his rookie contract. Of course, there was all these second round picks that were holding out close to training camp here because they wanted fully guaranteed contracts with their respective teams, because a couple of top rookies, Carson Schlesinger and then Jaden Higgins, who were drafted in the second round this year, got fully guaranteed contracts with their respective teams. I don't believe Amos's contract here is going to be fully guaranteed. I think it will be mostly guaranteed, but the news was broken today by Ben Standig, who is a beat reporter for the team, saying the Commanders have agreed to terms with second-round cornerback Trey Amos. And this is very good news if you're a Washington Commanders fan, because this means that the cornerback 2 battle can begin right at the start of camp. I talked about in a show earlier this week how I was worried about Amos missing time during Commanders training camp, giving Jonathan Jones, the veteran option that they brought in free agency this year, the leg up in that cornerback 2 battle. But I think Amos has the higher ceiling than Jones does at that CB2 spot this year, and I would love to see him compete and really have a full fighting chance to win the job week 1. So it's going to be Jonathan Jones, who, by the way, did have a very good offseason program. He's probably going to be in the quote-unquote pole position, so to speak, and Amos is going to get, his rotated reps in there with the ones, and he's going to have his chance to compete with Jonathan Jones because he's really ready, in my opinion, for NFL action in his first year. I think that he's got a lot of really great experience going up against a lot of really good wide receiver talent in the SEC. He's got good enough long speed to play in press, and then he's also got really long arms, and he's really physical as well. I think that he's good enough in off coverage as well. His click and close ability and his instincts are really good. Amos was one of my favorite corners in this entire draft class. I had a first-round grade on him, so to get him in round 2 was an absolute steal for the Washington Commanders. And my guess is he's going to win the job week 1 out of camp. Now, maybe Jonathan wins it and he gets a couple of weeks, but if he struggles at any point, I do think Amos is going to have his chance to get in there. And I think with his physicality, with his physical skill set, I think that he's going to be able to do more on the outside than what Jonathan Jones is going to be able to do from a physical standpoint. And, of course, Mike Samerstill is going to be filling that role in the slot. So this really is a job up for grabs. The winner is going to be a week 1 starter. The other guy is going to be sitting on the bench waiting for his opportunity. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Who's going to win the CB2 job here in Washington this year? Type JJ if you think Jonathan Jones is going to win that job out of camp, or type TA if you think the rookie out of Ole Miss will win this position. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So in just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Fanatics. And while I'm talking about Fanatics today, let me know who you think the CB2 in Washington is going to be week 1 versus the Giants. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor today at Fanatics, where if you guys want a brand new Washington Commanders hoodie today, you can get 50% off from our friends at Fanatics. We have the link down in the comments and description of today's show. The second paragraph in our description, you click that link and it's going to take you to the Fanatics website where you guys can get that 50% off Washington Commanders hoodie. I love the burgundy color on it. I love all the patches on the sleeve. And then, of course, you got the logo on the chest there. So if you want to wear this to Commanders training camp when they have the fans available there in Ashburn, or if you want to wear it during game days this year, make it your lucky Washington Commanders sweatshirt for the year. It's 50% off right now. Again, guys, the link is down in the description in the second paragraph if you guys are interested in getting a Washington Commanders hoodie for 50% off. So now let's dive a little bit deeper here on Von Miller, the newly signed edge rusher for the Washington Commanders. I put out an at-home instant reaction last night, and a lot of you guys watched that. Thank you guys so much for the support you gave to that instant reaction breaking news video. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button in case they make any more big moves. But let's kind of go in on Von Miller here and why I think he is going to be a success here with the Washington Commanders. Yes, he is old when it comes to NFL edge rushers, especially when you're talking about speed rushers. rushers, 36 years old, but he does bring good size to the table, 250 pounds. He isn't really an elite speed rusher like he was back in his prime. You can make an argument he was the greatest speed rusher from the edge in the history of the National Football League, but he's still an effective pass rusher in a designated type of sense, because you saw last year with the Buffalo Bills, he had a PFF grade of 85.5, and throughout his career, I mean, he has been a phenomenal grader on the field, especially when it comes to Pro Football Focus grading. The first 8 years of his career, his PFF grade was over a 90, which is an elite grade, and he has still maintained a very high level, on a very high standard in terms of his grading on the field in the last half decade, even in his older age. Last year, 85.5. He had an off year coming off a really bad injury in 2022 and 2023. Of course, he had no sacks, and he just didn't look good on the field that year. But then in 2022, he did have 8 sacks. 2021, he had 9.5. So, he's not the player that he used to be, guys, but he is still an effective pass rusher and somebody that can be used in a designated pass rushing type of role. And just last year, Von Miller had one of the better pressure rates in the National Football League. He was a designated pass rusher for Buffalo. I think that's going to be the same role he plays here in Washington, but 16% of his snaps last year, he was putting pressure on the opposing quarterback. He finished with 6 sacks total. And just so you guys know, if you don't know what a good pressure rate in the National Football League is, it's around 10 is what about the benchmark is for a good number in this particular stat. And Von Miller was over 5 percentage points higher than what is considered a good score. So Miller is still a very good pass rusher, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing here in Washington. He's not going to be on the field all that much on early downs and run-heavy situations, 4-minute drill type of situations, but he will be a designated pass rusher that is out there to hunt quarterbacks, which was his role last year with the Buffalo Bills. 77% of his snaps last season were in a pass rushing capacity, which of course leaves, what is that, 23% for run defense. So he was very much a designated pass rusher, similar to what Dante Fowler Jr. was for the Washington Commanders last year, and that's going to be the role that Miller's going to attempt to fill. Now, it's going to be some pretty big shoes to fill because Fowler had over 10 sacks last year with 10.5 as this team's designated pass rusher, had some big-time moments, forced some fumbles, had some TFLs as well. There's a reason why the Dallas Cowboys paid him to go back to Dallas in free agency this year. And then another thing to consider here is that Von Miller hasn't had 10.5 or more sacks since 2018. So it's been a very long time since he's had that type of production. But as we saw last year in this Dan Quinn system, with all the stunts and loops and all the things that they do to generate pressure for their edge rushers like Dante Fowler Jr., Dante kind of had an outlier year in sack production for his career last year. I expect something to be similar for Von Miller this year. And my prediction is, guys, I think he exceeds the 6 sack number that he had with the Buffalo Bills last year in this Dan Quinn system. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Who's going to have the better stat line when it comes to the full season here? Is it going to be Dante Fowler Jr. last year? If you think it's him, type DF. Or do you think Von Miller is going to exceed what Dante Fowler Jr. was able to do last year? Type VM. If you think Von Miller is going to get over 10.5 sacks this season. Now, before I go here, I do have one final item that I want to discuss on today's program, which is that the NFL 100, which is the NFL's list, their annual list of the top 100 players in the league. It's voted on by the players in the National Football League, have voted Bobby Wagner, the first Commanders player on the list here, number 74. So congratulations to Bobby, one of the all-time great interior linebackers in the National Football League's history, and he is still playing at a very high level. 74th best player according to the other players in the National Football League, and his PFF grading on the field definitely reflects that. An 88.3 PFF grade, which is third among off-ball linebackers last season. So even though he is older, he is somebody that is a fantastic leader and a great communicator on the field, one of the best green dots in the league in terms of keeping guys organized. But then he's also a phenomenal run defender, fills gaps extremely quickly, and of course his instincts are incredible. And then he's a really good blitzer as well when they decide to deploy him as a blitzer. Not the best coverage player at this point in his career. He doesn't backpedal all that well at his age, but he is still a very, very good off-ball linebacker. So congratulations to Bobby for getting inside the top 75 yet yet again. So let's go. Let me know down there in the comment section. Show some love to Bobby Wagner. If you want to show some love to 54, spam those 54s down there in the comment section. And that'll be it for today's edition of Commanders News and Rumors. We'll have more coverage for you guys tomorrow on this channel. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until tomorrow, guys, go raise some hail.